You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Hazelton Honda.
Welcome inside Lakeland Stadium. We're at Chapman Lake in Lackawanna County. Tonight, the Lackawanna Football Conference Division III Championship is on the line as Dunmore battles Lakeland. A pleasant good evening. I'm Bob Ide, and welcome to Friday Night Rivals and another beautiful night for high school football. Joining me, as he always does in the booth, former Tunkhannock area coach Jan Secek.
Thank you, Bob.
Hannah O'Reilly will be on the sidelines. She will join us a little bit later on. And Jan, not only a division championship on the line tonight, but these two teams right in the mix for district titles and district playoffs. They have to stay pace. Dunmore in AA and Lakeland in AAA.
With this shortened season, every game counts. Right now, the Bucks are trying to rebound from their loss last week to Tunkhannock, and they're going to be chasing those power points against a powerful Lakeland Chief team.
You mentioned the loss last week to Tunkhannock for the Bucks, but one steady player they've had all season long. He's our Ricardo's Market spotlight player, and that's Christian Buckley.
Christian Buckley plays running back for the Bucks. He's rushed for 367 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also plays defense at linebacker and has had some great hits. He's got 2 solo tackles and 4 sacks this year, and also he's a special teams long snapper.
Lakeland put up 55 points to Riverside last week. Their offense is on fire. Giovanni Spataro is the school's all-time leading rusher. But we're going to talk about a kid headed to the University of Maryland, and that's C.J. Dupree, our other Ricardo's Market spotlight player.
C.J. Dupree, 6'5", 250-pound tight end. That's what he's being recruited at from the Terrapins. But in this league, he's been a defensive stalwart. Teams are running away from him because he's been tearing it up. 9 tackles for losses, 4 sacks on the year. Offensively, 181 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Always a bit chilly here at Lakeland and Chapman Lake. A little bit of wind, of course, as always. But let's check in now on the weather with Allie Debicki from the Fox 56 News first at 10.
Hey everybody, I'm Chief Meteorologist Allie Debicki with your Friday Night Rivals forecast, looking at a touchdown forecast for us because temperatures way above average for Dunmore at Lakeland. You can see temperatures at kickoff in the 60s as we head through halftime, staying dry with a few more clouds here and there. We'll talk more about your forecast coming up in just a bit, but for now, we'll send it over to the field.
It's the 53rd meeting between these two teams. Last year, the Bucks beat the Chiefs. Lakeland trying to return the favor. It's Dunmore and Lakeland next.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
Here come the Bucks of Dunmore looking for their 3rd win on the year, taking the field here at Lakeland Stadium. And they're going to battle the undefeated Lakeland Chiefs, trying to move to 4-0. We are back live at Chapman Lake, and as you can see, there are some seats, people in the seats. I would say spectators in the seats. And Hannah O'Reilly has more on how many fans will actually attend tonight's game. Hannah?
Well, Bob and Jan, these games are far from normal, which we're pretty much used to this late in the season, but Lakeland is still making sure to bring some normalcy here tonight. It is the homecoming game, and they crown that king and queen a little bit earlier. So it's super exciting for players and for fans, especially since a lot of schools didn't even make it this far into their season. Now, as for fans tonight, there are not a lot of people here. Lakeland was given 175 tickets, while Dunmore was given 100. Lakeland's band and cheerleaders will also be here tonight, while Dunmore's will not. So Lakeland will have to make sure that these fans stay riled up. Now, Bob and Jan, it's going to be a windy game, but let's hope it's also an exciting one.
Thank you. Peyton Pedrica sends it down into the end zone. He has a nice leg for Dunmore. Dunmore won the toss, and they actually deferred. So we will see the high-powered Lakeland offense averaging 40 points per game, and underneath center in his sophomore year is Domenico Spataro. And he has thrown for 622 yards and just 1 interception.
And 9 touchdowns, Bob. That's for a second-year quarterback. He's doing really well. And they've really opened up their passing game this year with the way he's able to read the defenses and connect with his receivers. And having that talented receiver core doesn't hurt.
The QB, over his 2 seasons playing underneath center, has only thrown 2 interceptions and 12 touchdowns. He's thrown in his career so far for 844 yards. So they will start, the Chiefs will, in the I formation. They run a balanced attack. This is his brother Giovanni, and right there, ready is Temperino. The ball is on the field, and it's Dunmore football on the fumble. First play of the game.
Picked up by number 8, Kieran Reyes, on that. They go with the ISO play right there, and number 27 holds him up, comes in, the ball comes out. Watch, scoop and score. But again, he didn't score. That's a drill that the coaches use all the time. We call that scoop and score. You work on body position, get your hands pinky to pinky, scoop it up like a baseball.
Temperino, who came in with 3 tackles for a loss, causes that first play fumble, so the Bucks get the first break of the evening. They have the ball at the Chiefs' 12-yard line. We'll check in on their quarterback in 1 second. It is a freshman. His name is Thomas Bowen. We'll give you his numbers in a moment. They come out in the eye. Buckley to dot that. Some movement up front. First flag of the night. Jason McDermott is our referee for this Lackawanna Football Conference crew. Let me know if we're going to use the quarterback.
Dead ball, encroachment, 87 defense, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
So a lot of excitement around the Chiefs' is homecoming. Their last home game, most likely, and a little bit of nerves have set in.
And again, with such a storied rivalry between these two teams, yeah, the nerves, the adrenaline's pumping, and I know C.J. Dupree talking to him before the game, he was just like licking his chops. He couldn't wait for this game to start.
There's the bread and butter of the Bucks this year, Christian Buckley. We've talked about him in our pregame, and here is that quarterback, the freshman, Bowen. He's thrown for 295 yards, no interceptions, and 3 TDs.
He's a cool, collected young man. For a freshman stepping out there on the gridiron to be able to throw 3 touchdowns and no interceptions as a first year in a short season, it says a lot about the system that he's in with Coach McHale.
Buckley picked up 7 on his first carry. Nothing fancy about the Bucks. They're going to use a big offensive line. Buckley to the pylon, and it's a Hazelton Honda touchdown for the Dunmore Bucks. They convert the fumble into points.
Well, that's what every offensive coordinator wants to do. You get that turnover, let's make them pay twice. And you'll see right here, they just run the ISO play. Fullback picks up the defensive end, and Buckley does a nice job with the stiff arm in there, getting that face mask off, and he reaches that in for the touchdown.
So Padrika on to add the extra point. Oh, bad snap. And I think, as you mentioned, Christian Buckley is the snapper. We didn't get a number, but bad snap, extra point is no good, and it's 6-0 with exactly 1 minute gone in this contest. Here's what's on the line for the Dunmore Bucks: 2 wins, trying to keep pace in the AA. They will take. There's only one team that will be the champion this year. There's no playoff. And there's no minimum games, as we found out from Kevin McHale before the game.
And Coach McHale was a little very disappointed in that, not just a little, that it was changed from the beginning of the season to just on Monday when he said he got that email. Again, they're chasing Lackawanna Trail, who has 1 game, and they have the points right now, so they would be the contender for the AA.
Well, Trail, I believe, is Monday's playing Susquehanna, and then they play Old Forge the following Saturday. So if everything goes as planned,
okay,
and as we know, nothing has gone as planned as this year, they should have 3 games in the books before the playoffs. So after that turn of events and the fumble, the Chiefs will get the ball back. So Padrika will tee it up again. Last time he kicked a beautiful Lackawanna College kickoff into the end zone. He has a strong leg. Pigeon from his goal takes it inside the end zone for the touchback, and it'll come out to the 20. Here is now the offense for the Lakeland Chiefs. We didn't get to look at it before. Barrett is the fullback, and Spataro, who had that fumble, the school's all-time leading rusher, will be the tailback. And there you see the nice receivers they have. Mancuso with 59 yards catching this year, along with Pigeon. And up front, nice, big, strong line. 3 seniors up there and 2 juniors. Cross Douglas is the right tackle, looking at some PSAC schools.
Absolutely, and they like the way that these guys have been playing, especially the way how physical this offensive line has been playing for the Chiefs. Now, when you have big C.J. Dupree out there at the tight end spot, that also makes it a lot easier for your tackles now to have that double team where they can then end up combo blocking and then going to the second level.
Right back to Spataro. He lost the ball again. Someone got a hand in it. It's loose. Referees are going to get the players up. And the Bucks recover it again. 2 fumbles in a row by Spataro and 2 turnovers. Wow.
That's not what the Chiefs wanted to start out. Let's see what happened. All right, they run the ISO again. Good stand-up. Guys coming in, and they're just punching at the ball. That's a drill, I'm sure. And Coach McHale said that was one thing they were going to do all week. They stressed that after last week not being able to block and tackle and really force any turnovers.
Hard to see who hit him. It might have been Michael Burke, the defensive end, or Kieran Reyes, who's picked up the last fumble. So this time the Bucks have it near their own 20. This is the fullback who gets a carry. Mark Del Vecchio, the 196-pound senior. He pushes forward.
Do a nice job with this. They're going to try to use now Buckley as a little bit of a decoy. Keep that defense honest by hitting that with the fullback for a short gain. You'll see that in there. There's a trap, number 68, pulling. And again, the Chiefs' defense does a nice job picking that up. They filled in that gap.
So this game, as you know, will be one up front. A nice matchup in the middle between both lines.
And they're evenly matched. Right across the board, they're about 240 each, averaging. Nice drop in there.
Yep, Buckley hit by Romanowski just about the line of scrimmage.
Rob Romanowski does a great job reading this. Here comes that pulling tackle, and he just does a nice job coming in there uninterrupted and dropping him for a loss.
Loss of 1. That's his 3rd TFL on the season. So 3rd and long now facing this Dunmore Buck team. Up 6-0 here very early in the first quarter. Bowen in the shotgun. And we have a timeout. Dunmore Bucks. So the Bucks call timeout. It's a Keystone College timeout, 9:19 in just over, less than 3 minutes
left in this game. Yeah. Wayne's Family Diner in German on South Washington Avenue. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day starting at 6 a.m. Everything we serve is homemade with the freshest ingredients. Homemade meals at their finest, including soups and desserts. Good friend, good food, good times. And last time I ate there, Bob, I had a breakfast that was fit for a king.
I heard you like to go there.
I do. Very good. The service was great. The food was wonderful. Highly recommend it.
Well, you're a big food connoisseur.
Well, that's what my waist would tell you.
So how about the Chiefs? We talked about maybe some jitters, but a couple fumbles by Spataro, very unusual for him. They don't turn the ball over all year. And you know, they're high school kids, right? How do you approach that if you're the coach?
Well, right now, Giovanni Spataro, you don't even have to approach him because he's beating himself up on the sideline. And the one thing Coach P is going to have to tell him is, look, the game, it's early in the game. Let's play one play at a time. Do what you do best, Giovanni, and that's run the ball. But now let's secure both points, but get both hands on it.
They hand it off to Ruggiero, and Ruggiero almost had his head ripped off, going to be close to the first down. So it'll be 4th down and short.
So we go with the speed sweep right here. Ruggiero does a nice job. He got away from C.J. Dupree, and look at that. Nice job by number 12, John Siemens of the Bucks standing him up. But again, that Ruggiero just kept his legs, and he got close to that first down. So we have 4th and 1.
Now, Dunmore's kicker, as we saw, Peyton Padrica, does have a very strong leg. So Coach McHale instead is going to go for it on 4th and about 1.5. Power I. Movement. Temperino move. This will back them up 5. And now let's see if he's going to send the field goal on or go for it. I see Padrica takes the field.
47 offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So Padrica comes out with the tee. He'll place it right about the 24-yard line. So a 34-yard attempt. Now, last time they tried to get the snap off. And it looks like number 9 snapping. 9 snapping. I believe that's Burke.
Yep, Michael Burke.
Ruggiero's the holder. Let's see if they can pull this one off. Good snap. He didn't get any leg into it. It's going to be wide right and short. So the Chiefs hold, and it remains 6-0.
Well, they dodged a bullet with that turnover, and give that Chiefs defense a lot of credit for doing that, holding them, and then being able to make sure that that field goal, again, that was a great snap. It's just that the kicker, I guess, maybe, felt a little bit of pressure on himself that time to make sure to try to nail that in.
So Lakeland has run 2 plays, 2 fumbles. They come out with their wide set. 2 Spateros in the backfield. Domenico to the air, and it overthrows the intended receiver on that far side. It goes incomplete. Here now the Hazleton Honda defense for the Dunmore Bucks, who giving up 16 points per game, as Temperino already with the tackle for a loss. Brislin, Bloom, and Burke up front. The run of 4-3, the 3 linebackers. Kinsel in the middle has 23 total tackles on the year. He's the leading tackler. And in the secondary, Reyes already with a fumble recovery. Dylan Aquino, he has 16 total tackles and an interception. So a very strong Dunmore defense that got scorched a little bit by the Tigers last week.
They did. With the no huddle that the Tigers came out with, they really put them on their heels. And to Tuncanic's advantage, they did really well with it.
So Terrell looks right, looks left, try to get it to Dupree. That will go incomplete. So a lot of miscues by the Chiefs here really early.
You'll see on this, they're going to go with that. Okay, here it comes. We try with the slip screen in there, and the ball was thrown a little bit behind, and C.J. Dupree was going a little forward. Again, they know it. They just have to settle down and just do what they've done all season, and they're going to be successful this evening.
Chiefs very balanced on offense, usually more passing yards. And Domenico going to go long and try to get it out to Dupree. Good coverage out there by Dylan Aquino, and the punt team comes on for Lakeland. 3 incompletions.
Well, you'll see on this one, I thought they were going to throw a flag for movement on offensive line. He overthrows Dupree on this one. Again, a good coverage, though. The Bucks, I'll tell you what, that's a huge mismatch anytime C.J. Dupree's out on the field.
Dupree is the punter. Ruggiero back to receive. They get a little bit of a rush on him. Good punt. Ruggiero through his hands. Picks it up. Falls forward inside Chief territory, and that's where the Bucks will begin their 3rd series. Here are the coaches tonight, both in their 2nd season. Coach David Pawarchik for Lakeland, 8-6. And Coach McHale, longtime assistant under Coach Henzis. He's back for his 2nd season at 10-6. 2 very young coaches, very eager, with 2 very good programs.
2 well-established programs, and sometimes the pressure the coaches put on themselves to maintain what has been done in the past is very, very hard on them. But again, when you're a Dunmore coach or you're a Lakeland coach, you know what you have to do to be successful.
Read easily by Lakeland. Coming in from the outside, that looked like Pigeon. Up the check again. He got to Buckley quickly.
Look inside there.
Nope.
Yeah, he just
Giovanni Spatero.
Giovanni. He's going to try to make up for it now on defense. No one picked him up, and he shut them down for a 2-yard loss.
So a loss of 2. And Buckley gets a lot of the carries and a lot of the attention. So Bowen's going to have to open things up a little bit if Dunmore wants to be successful. Buckley with a couple of nice moves. Gets a first down and more. Gain of 14 for Christian Buckley.
Tell you what, Thomas Bowen is probably buying Buckley some treats at lunch. I'll tell you what. Watch his running technique, how he can stop on a dime. And it's just whoop, whoop, and he just keep that going. Look at that, look at that. He's just going, trying to get an extra block downfield. And what I was saying, it was with Thomas Bowen at the quarterback as a freshman. That takes a lot of pressure off of him to have such a great running back behind you.
Romanowski takes down Buckley. But Buckley picks up a bunch of yardage. And here's the Hazleton Honda offense. Talked about Bowen with a nice week last week against Tunkhannock. 201 yards through the air, and Delvecchio already with a couple carries. Reyes, Aquino, Temperino are your receivers. And up front, let's talk about them a lot. A couple Majeskis up there. They are some big boys, excluding Tyler on the outside. 6'6", 240. He's a senior.
And then number 67, 5'11", 305. And he's a sophomore. That's Austin Breslin.
Always have come up with a big lineman in Dunmore. I don't know how they find them. Buckley taken down quickly on the outside. Short gain, 3rd down on the way.
You'll see this. They run this ISO. Again, this is what Dunmore does. They don't do a lot, but what they do it very well.
Jerome Bullock, the weak safety, the sophomore takes him down. So no gain on that. Bowen still looking to attempt his first pass of the evening. Back over the middle and broken up nicely. Great defense in the middle.
That was Lakata Dupree that broke that up. He had great position, brings that arm in, and knocks that ball down. They just go with the little curl pattern. And again, great coverage, and again, great technique coming up over, knocking that ball down.
Temperino, the tight end, the attendant receiver. So the punt team comes on. No, we're going to try another field goal. So Padrika is going to place his tee at the 33. 43-yard attempt by the junior. Good snap. Blocked by Dupree. And the big University of Maryland recruit is on his way. It's a Hazleton Honda touchdown for the Lakeland Chiefs on the block. Field goal attempt. About 60 yards.
That would be, yeah, it was at the 33. Was where the kicker was. They were, yeah. And you'll see on this, again, it comes right in, but what we couldn't see if we had the end zone shot, you'll see that C.J. Dupree all of a sudden is on the outside, and he snuck up on the inside, and then he just timed that perfectly.
67 yards officially, and we are tied at 6 in a very entertaining first 7 minutes of the game. In this rivalry that goes back 53 meetings ago against two of the more storied programs in the Lackawanna Football Conference. The extra point is blocked as Timmy McGrain tried to get it up and through. So we are tied. Don't want to leave the TV. 5:17 remaining in the first quarter. We'll take our first timeout.
welcome back to the game. It is tied right now at Lakeland, but I'm shifting gears and talking to the woman who seems to do it all. I am here with Leslie Graham. Now, Leslie, not only are you a science and biology teacher at Lakeland, but you also planned homecoming. Talk to me about how that worked with this pandemic going on.
Well, it was a little bit of a challenge, but my officers, the senior class officers, and I were getting together on Zoom meetings all summer in order to try to have some kind of normalcy go on this year. And we did have to scale it back a little bit. Normally we have a freshman, sophomore, and junior princess also, and obviously we're not having a dance this year, but we were able to do it all virtually. And then the kids got to walk on the field. They were thrilled.
Well, now, not only was homecoming a little different, but the school year is something nobody was prepared for. How is Lakeland making sure that these students stay on track during all of this?
Well, we're meeting with them. We have office hours throughout the day. We meet with them during the day. We meet with them at night, one-on-one if necessary. We're really trying to help them out because it's difficult for the teachers, so it has to be a lot worse for the poor students.
And these students, you know, they thrive off of seeing their classmates day to day, and now they don't get that, but luckily they're sports. So how important is it that these guys get to play on nights like tonight?
I think they were really looking forward to it. They definitely have been looking forward. I know the girls soccer team also, they look forward to it. All the athletes have been looking forward to a little bit of normalcy.
Well, I know I'm not the only one that wants to say this, but thank you so much to you and teachers all over for all the hard work that you guys have to do this year.
Thank you so much.
Bob and Jan, I don't think I could do it. Could you?
Yeah, I do, actually, Hannah.
Coach, so first it was Buckley for 8, then 2 plays in. They haven't had a gain. In fact, I think they just lost a yard on the little fullback trap, so 3rd down on the way.
Well, it seems like both teams are settling down. You'll see right here. There they go. That's the Dunmore. Yeah, that's what they're known for, that power, the trapping game that they like to do, have those guards pulling.
It's Carl Kinsel has looks like a wrist injury or something, has a cast on his left arm. And back to Buckley. Buckley is stood up short of the 1st down. Mason Horsby with the initial hit.
You'll see right here, to go with the ISO. Again, what Dunmore does, they usually do it very, very well. And he's got some young kids up there. He's got some big kids. And Coach McHale would love to see the bigger kids, the Masacheski brothers, really start to take charge of that offensive line.
Buick with the initial tackle on that play, and Patrica with a nice strong punt. Backs up Mancuso. Takes it from his 16, but is surrounded by white jerseys, and he's taken down.
Number
really
9.
For no gain on the punt. Michael Burke with the tackle.
That was a great job with the punt coverage. Boy, I'll tell you, he's got a great foot. Watch this. Again, he's doing a nice job trying to make something happen, and all that did was allow all those white jerseys to gather around and then make that hit.
Well, we know what Mancuso can do. If anybody watched the Wilkes-Barre game against Lakeland, and Lakeland trailed in that game to late in the 4th quarter, and then with 4 seconds left, Wilkes-Barre punted to Lakeland, right? And Mancuso took it about 70, almost 70 yards.
And then they got the 2-point conversion for the win. Oh, what an exciting game. Heartbreaking for Wilkes-Barre, but the Lakeland Chiefs really gelled after that game.
Pulled it out 27-26, pick up those strong 6A points. We have a flag come in. And then, of course, they beat Riverside last week.
Prior to the snap, false start, 55 offense, 5-yard penalty, down the first.
Now, last week, Coach, against the Vikings, they put up 525 total yards of offense. They had an explosion.
They had an explosion, and you would think that the kids would have been tired and beat up from that, but they enjoyed every second of it. Talking with Coach P about that, he said the kids really responded well Monday. They came right back to work.
Well, Giovanni tries to get it out to the big tight end, but Dunmore was right there.
You'll see they just go. They set this play up before. And again, great job by Dunmore. Look at that, gang tackling. That was one thing Coach McHale really emphasized this week after their loss last week, that he didn't feel that they tackled well enough. And you can see that they're all gang tackling. Lots of buck helmets around the offensive player.
Chiefs offense that did put up all those numbers last week, being held in check. Dunmore doing a nice job so far, and that was Joe Marsacco, number 50, who read that. Back to Giovanni Spatero. Temporino strings it out, and he makes the tackle close to the goal line.
They're just going out wide right now. They're trying to stretch the Dunmore defense. And you can see linebackers are flowing. Defensive ends are flying upfield. Cornerbacks are fighting through the stalk block. And they stop Spatero right at the 1 yard line.
Bucks were not happy. They gave up 30 points last week to Tunkhannock, and they're taking it out on Lakeland here tonight. So the ball's all the way back inside the 5, 3rd and forever. And this is a tough play. If you're Lakeland, you don't want to turn the ball over, but if you punt, there's not much room in that end zone, as we know last week when Lake Lehman had the punt block. So Domenico hits a receiver on the outside. The ball comes loose again as he got it to Snyder, but it looks like Snyder recovers his own fumble. No, that's number 13. Spatero, the quarterback, who recovers it. But here comes the punt team for the Chiefs.
So they go. He's rolling out to his left. You'll see that the receiver now, he stops down and curls down in that dead zone that I always talk about. Good receivers will do that. They find an opening so the quarterback can throw to him. And again, Dunmore has been working the strip drill tremendously tonight because they're causing all these turnovers right now, forcing fumbles.
Dupree gets it off quickly. And it takes a nice bounce out of bounds. The Bucks will have excellent field position inside the Chiefs' 40-yard line. Here's some keys to the game, and it's back to basics for Kevin McHale.
And he said block and tackle, and they've been doing a great job of tackling. They're blocking on the offensive line. They've got to start taking charge. And their special teams, they've got a great kicker. He missed the one field goal, and it had the one blocked. So right now, I'm sure Coach McHale's really going to be worried about his special teams the rest of the game.
Bucks have put 4 possessions, Coach. 3 have started inside Chief territory.
That makes it an easy night for an offensive coordinator, that's for sure.
Lakeland's done a nice job to keep them just down to 6 points, considering they fumbled twice on the first 2 plays of the game.
And the Bucks only converted one of those into any type of points, obviously.
A missed field goal and that as well. Play fake. Hit! That's a Dupree who hit him. They say it's a fumble as Lakota, and it remains Dunmore ball.
You'll see the pressure coming off the edge. They just weren't picked up. They came in, and that was just a great hit from the blind side. They go with that ISO fake, and you'll see all of a sudden, there it is. Number 6 coming in there, doing a great job, Lakota Dupree. Trying to steal the headlines from his older brother, I suppose.
So they're going to huddle up over there and see if it was a fumble, I would expect, and who recovered it. Right now, the call in the field is a fumble, and Dunmore retains possession.
Ruling on the field is that the passer's arm was moving forward as he threw the ball. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass.
Maybe we
Second
see that.
down.
Maybe we'll look at that again, guys, and let's see if it's.
Here we go. Slow-mo it.
That's close.
That's really close.
Really close. He might have got hit.
He was getting
it was
hit.
jarred for. He was back,
and he got hit from that blind side, and that forces your body to go forward. Obviously, his arm was going with that, but
we had a review, and we've talked about this every week. You don't have it in high school, which is we understand that's a tough call on the field.
Where's Mr. Pereira right now? He's sitting home. He doesn't work Friday nights.
So on the incomplete pass, the Bucks have it still at the Lakeland 35. Buckley almost didn't even get the handoff. Shooting in was C.J.
Dupree. And you'll see they're trying to run the power game. Well, what is interesting, the last 2 times they ran this power, they're pulling the front side and then all of a sudden the running back's filling where the guard's pulling.
That should be the last play of this entertaining first quarter. It's going to be 6-all. What will happen in quarter number 2, Coach? I'll have to stay tuned.
That's right.
It's the 53rd meeting between the Chiefs and the Bucks, and we have a good one going up at Chapman Lake.
Kathleen McGuigan, your Geico Scranton local agent, is proud sponsor of high school football and wishes good luck to both the Dunmore and Lakeland football programs.
Bob-eyed Jan Cechek, Hannah O'Reilly back at a windy night up at Chapman Lake in northern Lackawanna County. But it is not raining, it is not snowing, so we are happy. I've been up here when it's been snowing like crazy.
And it's the only place it's been snowing
yeah.
in Lackawanna County.
So we have a 6-6 game. We've had 2 fumbles by Lakeland. We had a blocked field goal by Lakeland. We've had
nice job.
Dunmore convert one of those fumbles into the score, and that's where we're at 6-6 as Ruggiero takes the
he
nice
does
little
a nice
pass.
job with this slip screen with good concentration. He didn't have that ball, and he just put 2 hands on it as he was getting hit and maintained possession. That was a nice job with the concentration.
So 4th down on the way for the freshman QB, who completes that pass, and Coach McHale is going to go for it. He's going to send out 3 receivers, and Dovecchio is next to the QB. Here's the 4th down play. Little floating pass. He almost got it to his receiver, Aquino, but it falls incomplete. Pigeon had a shot, or I should say Spatero had a shot at an INT.
Well, and Spatero, if he did have a shot at it, but I think he intentionally dropped it because that would have put them back on their 2-yard line. Nice job going for the long ball. Good coverage, though. He had him beat. It just was underthrown, and that's what happened. So you could see that. Good job by the Chiefs' defensive secondary right there.
It's actually Siemens who almost pulled that in. The sophomore, 5'10", 170-pounder, who got some hands on it. And on downs, the Chiefs take over at their own 30-yard line. Oh, both defenses have come in prepared, and the leading rushers on both sides just can't get anything going. Spatero going to lose about 3.
You'll see on this play right here, they're just going with the RPO, the read pass option, and he gave it off. And the Dunmore box, they converged, and there was no hole there for the running back to go.
That was number 9, Michael Burke, who came in with 18 total tackles. And, in the Wallen-Paulpack game, Michael Burke had 8 total tackles and a sack and a tackle and a half of losses. So nice year so far for number 9, Michael Burke, the senior. So this is Domenico. Pulls it in and gets a big hit from Kitzel. And a flag comes in. I don't know, maybe a high hit from Kinsel on the QB. We'll see what it is, but you can feel that one up here.
I felt that all the way up here, Bob. That's a good call, because I'll tell you what, he was taken off. Domenico had some nice feet to him. Let's get the call.
Personal foul, illegal helmet contact, number 48 defense, 15-yard penalty and a 1st down.
Okay, another one we can look at, but I don't think that was close, but we'll see.
So you'll see he's checking off. There's nothing there. He's trying to direct traffic. He's going to be pointing downfield, trying to influence, and you'll see it come in right here. Yep.
Yes, good call.
Absolutely. Again, the official's job is the player's safety at all costs and at all times. So they're always going to err on the side of caution anytime there's that type of hit.
Coach McHale looks that back on the film. He'll agree with that. So that gives Lakeland some room back out to the 47. And a 1st down. Looks like Domenico is okay from that big hit. Looking towards Dupree. They're going to throw it up to the big tight end, and he overthrows him. Double coverage on the outside. Aquino, number 2, on the coverage.
They do a nice job. He's the strong safety. They had him inside. They rolled him out when the linebacker told him to go, and then they doubled up in the coverage. Ball was overthrown.
And Domenico had himself quite a game last week. Career 257 total yards through 4 touchdowns against the Vikings D.
As a sophomore, and again, he's got some talent all around him, and they played like a total team last week, and obviously were very, very, very successful against Riverside.
And you mentioned in our conversations this week, 2 years ago we were here for a game, and C.J. Dupree was the quarterback.
Yeah, and he's transitioned, you know, and he's taken a nice attitude about that.
So Giovanni falls forward for about 5.
Again, when he was the quarterback, he was like being touted as the next coming. And you'll see right here, they do a nice job with that, the RPO. And a hole opens up really quickly, and he gets in there for that 5 yards. Nice job by the offensive line.
The college coach is always expected. He was always a tight end type. He has that body, defensive end. Does C.J. Dupree, and that's why he's going to the Terps.
He, when he shook my hand when I was talking to him pregame, he's got some mitts on him, and he's going to do really well. He's got a great attitude. He wants to go sports management down there, and he's just excited to be able to move on to the next level.
And he'll be an early enrollee in January. He will graduate Lakeland in December. So great defense by the Bucks up front by Kinsel. And 4th down now for the Chiefs.
And you'll see right here, here we go. They're going to try to go with the lead now. And again, Dunmore is just playing really stout defensively. Again, they're trying to make amends for last week, and they're trying to gain some more power points tonight if they can get the win.
Initially hit by Joey Marsacco, the junior, number 50. So Dupree now will go back to punt. Ruggiero back to receive. High end over end. Takes a nice bounce for the Chiefs out of bounds right at the half-yard line.
Wow.
Well, you'll take that every time as the Bucks bring the offense out, and they will start literally in the shadow of their own end zone.
And I would suspect right now the defensive coordinator for Lakeland is going to be dialing up some blitzes and put some pressure in there to hopefully get that safety.
Well, the Bucks, who couldn't convert 4 times inside Lakeland territory, now have to go 99.5 yards to get a touchdown.
And this is one of the things, part of Coach McHale's keys to the game was special teams. You never want to get pinned in at the half-yard line and then work 99.5 yards to try to get a score.
As our friend Coach Kaharski says, it's very tough for a high school team to go over 80 yards. They're going to make a couple mistakes. Lakeland showing blitz. The freshman quarterback just shoves his way forward behind his big offensive line and Mason Macheski. It gets a little breathing room out to the 4.
Again, they do a nice job. They went with a long count on that, trying to get Lakeland to jump. They didn't. Both disciplined offensive, defensive lines, and again, he just squeezed that out for 2 yards. But again, when you're at the half-yard line, that's a ton of breathing room. He just got them.
Still, though, an opportunity for the Chiefs if they can hold them on downs to get good field position out of this. Under 8 to play in the half. Buckley, nice push by that line. Out close to a 1st down. They'll be about 2 yards short.
Well, the Bucks are going to their left side of their line. You'll see that he cuts back. And again, you got Austin Brislin out there, 5'11", and 305 pounds. Dave Arenica, who's 5'11", 230 pounds. Again, pretty quick kid out there. Coach McHale really likes the way he handles himself on the offensive line.
Lots of movement up front. Who moved first? Everybody's pointing at everybody else. The referee's using the walkie-talkies tonight to communicate.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 75 offense, half the distance to the goal. We played third down.
So a big break there for the Chiefs against the Dunmore offense. Of course, relies on the run, 234 yards per game this season on the ground for Dunmore.
Well, that's the trademark of the Bucks, though. We know they are pounding ground type of guys, and again, they're in their power I formation right now because they're so backed up, and they just want to try to get some breathing room.
Buckley, if he can get the edge, he has a first down and more. Buckley on his horse past the 20, and what a great run from the senior. He bounces outside, and it's a figure law firm first down.
Well, you'll see right here, they're just going. He goes over to the left, and he cuts back to the right. And watch this shake and bake he does right there. Nice job eluding the defender, and he gets that extra yardage, gets Dunmore a key first down. More importantly, they're not at the half-yard line anymore.
Longest run of the night for Buckley of 20, and it's a big, big run if you're a Dunmore Buck fan. Bowen keeps it. Shane Barrett on the tackle. Loss of about 3.
You'll see on this play right there. I don't know. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication on that. And again, Bowen, he did the smart thing. He didn't try to force a play, and he just had to take the sack.
Have to keep reminding yourself, 6'1", but a freshman.
But a freshman, exactly.
I mean, almost looked like an option play, but I've never really seen Dunmore run an option play. Still an opportunity for Lakeland to make a big stop and get field position. Buckley, shake and bake, still on his feet, powers up near the first down marker. He's going to be about 2 yards short.
You'll see on this play, Dave Aronica, the left guard, lead blocking up through there. And Buckley's a very patient runner to allow those blocks to set up so he can then find that opening and hit it. He's got great, great body control on himself.
John Siemens with the tackle for the Chiefs. Coming up on the 5.5-minute mark of this battle for the Lackawanna Football Conference Championship, Division III style. I guess they gave him a first down, Coach.
They did. And again,
I'm not sure he got the marker. I thought on the official on the far side marked it about 3 yards short, but
well, you'll see on this play, again, they're still trying to run that, but they got to start cleaning that up in there with the defensive line. The offensive line, when we're getting 2 guys on one, especially when the puller's coming along, he should be looking for the free man, not somebody that's plugging up the hole.
Nico Ruggiero gives Buckley a little bit of a breather. I actually think he's checking out something on the sideline. So Ruggiero gets the toss. He gets tripped up, or he might have been off, and he picks up a figure law first down up near the 45.
Ruggiero with a nice burst, but again, you'll see the Dunmore Bucks. Now they're pulling again. I keep saying about Dave Aronica, and he does a nice job. They're starting to go outside, away from the strength of that defense of the Chiefs right now. So go to where they're not. Don't try to keep pounding it up inside. Coach McHale, that's a pretty good philosophy you're going with right now.
Ruggiero, a couple of nice runs. Flags down. I can't tell over there. Thought I saw a yellow hanky come out. Nice run by Ruggiero past midfield. Some pushing and shoving on the sidelines. Now it looks like Buckley either has a contact issue or something wrong with his helmet. They're checking him out right around the 35-yard line. And Lakeland's going to toggle timeout themselves. So it's a Keystone College timeout. Yeah, I think it's contacts. So Christian Buckley having a little bit of eye issue. He should be back after that's resolved, but Rogerio's given him three nice runs, I should say.
And they're going to the outside, so yeah, they're starting to go to where they're not. October is Jobtoberfest at Allied Services. Every Thursday in October, Allied Services hosts job counseling, hiring fairs, giveaways, and so much more. Learn about all the excellent career opportunities, including sign-on bonuses and benefits every Thursday. Get all the details at Careers at Allied Services on Facebook.
Back at Lakeland Stadium, Chapman Lake on a beautiful night for Friday night rivals. And it's a Division III Lackawanna Football Conference contest between the Bucks and the Chiefs, two of the more storied programs in the history of high school football. Dunmore has 701 wins in 18 league championships, while Lakeland has 411 wins and 21 league titles in the history.
And we were talking with Coach McHale and Coach P before the game, and they both said it's probably going to be a low-scoring game.
Ball's on the ground, and it looks like a Dunmore Buck recovered it. Rogerio lost it. Nope, it's over to Lakeland. Cross Douglas has his paws on it.
C.J. Dupree knocked the card on his butt and then gets his hand right in there to get that ball stripped. And number 53 does a nice job jumping on it.
We talk about C.J. Dupree for a reason as a spotlight player. He can do it all, and he's really a man amongst boys sometimes.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what you said, Bob. He just made it look so easy, coming in, knocking an offensive lineman down, getting his hand on the running back to pull that ball out.
Well, I said how hard it is to go 99 yards, and they cough it up for their first turnover of the night to the Bucks. And Domenico Spatero is going to go to Dupree and somehow overthrew him, the 6'5" receiver. Let's take a look at the fumble.
You'll see him come right in there. Boom! Knocks the pulling guard down and then just got his hand right in there. Perfect ball placement. I mean, Bob, you said a man amongst boys right now, and that was one of those plays. And they looked for him to be a leader offensively and defensively.
I think he called Connor Bloom pulling a little bit. Maybe a little bit off balance, but still a huge hit from number 87. Now, Lakeland will go to this once in a while. They'll spread them out. They did this against Wilkes-Barre to get back in the game. They can throw the ball. First touch of the night. This is, I believe, John Siemens. This is Mike Pigeon. Pigeon with a nice gain and a big pass play for the Chiefs up to the 22. It's a figure law, first down.
You'll watch this, but C.J. Dupree, we just mentioned him. Watch him stalk blocking, and he just destroys this guy, pushes him out of the way, opening up that outside alley for Pigeon to get all that yardage.
27-yard pass play for Mike Pigeon, his 8th catch on the year. He has 4 touchdowns. He had a big game last week with Riverside. He had 3 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown. So this puts the Chiefs in shooting distance for a touchdown. They're using the pass game, and Lakota Dupree in and out of his hands. He knew he had an opportunity.
You'll see right here, now they go over that speed screen right in there. And again, it's hard. Receivers always, they want to start running the ball before they secure it and catch it. And again, you saw as he was coming off the field, he smacked himself in the helmet because he was frustrated. He knows better, and he knows he can do a lot better for the Lakeland Chiefs.
The Chiefs put up 295 yards through the air last week with the Vikings. They can throw the ball around if they need to. Domenico in the pocket. Over to the intended receiver, Schneider. Chiefs fans want a flag. Don't think it was catchable. He might have slipped as well, but good defense out there by Aquino, the senior.
Again, now Dunmore is playing a cover 3 with a man over top to give them 3 guys over 2 towards our sideline here. And again, it was incidental contact. The ball, the officials will always say it was uncatchable, especially in that one because it went down. But I understand the frustration because I've been there.
Spataro does a nice job in the pocket, too. He's just 5'8", found some room.
His offensive line is doing a nice job giving him the time to look around and to make his checkoffs to his receivers.
The Bucks need a stop here. They had the 6-0 lead. Miscommunication between the receiver, Dupree, and Spataro, the quarterback. This brings up 4th down. So 3 incompletions after that long pass play, and I believe Coach P will go for it.
Well, this is the best field position that the Chiefs have been in all in this first half. So a punt won't do him any good, and he doesn't have a field goal kicker that could hit this one. So, yeah, 4th down, let's go for it.
Timmy McGrain is the kicker. He does have a good leg, but I don't think from this distance. So on 4th and 10, let's see what the Chiefs can do. Out into the flat, trying to hit Mancuso, overthrows him. Buckley on the coverage, who's back. And the Bucks take over on downs. So the defenses have taken over so far in this game.
You'll see that he's going to be rolling to his right. They had on the backside, they had big C.J. Dupree. And again, the Bucks respect that young man. They double coveraged him, which allows them to get more one-on-ones to the wide side of the field.
So Bowen and his boys come back out. They'll have 2:55 on the clock. I believe 2 timeouts left. I don't think they're going to do anything turnover-wise. They do get the ball to begin the second half. Well, this one started on fire as Lakeland's first 2 possessions resulted in a fumble. Dunmore could only convert that into 1 touchdown. Credit to the Chiefs defense. And then the Chiefs came up with a blocked field goal attempt from the Bucks, and that's where we stand right now. Back to Buckley. Flag comes in, usually holding, and the ball comes out, but the whistle have blown. So it was a 2-yard gain, but let's see what the flag is.
Well, Coach McHale, if this is a hold, he's going to be really frustrated with his offensive line, and I'm sure they're going to hear about it at halftime.
Okay.
There's the initial call from Jason McDermott.
Number is 75. Get it to 70. His number is 75. All right. Holding 75 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
I don't know if we can see that, but that's a big penalty on 1st down.
Again, especially right before the half. Let's see. Stepping down. When he was falling, he grabbed. I call that incidental as an offensive line coach. It happens.
Yeah, well, that's a coach's perspective. Come on.
Absolutely. And then the officials' perspective, and they always win, I'll tell you.
Well,
it's amazing.
They're not wearing those zebras for show, you know. Buckley looking for anything. He can't really find anything. Chris Nolan takes him down. They'll actually lose a couple yards. And, you know, Buckley's options tonight running have been slim.
Again, they're going with the toss now. Good. Lakeland has adjusted to the outside game, so they're bringing outside pressure now. The corners are doing a good job taking that stalk block on right at the line of scrimmage, allowing the linebackers to scrape and fill.
Now, will Lakeland start using timeouts?
Well, they have 2.
They have 2 left. Buckley trying to get him to the edge. Good pursuit by Siemens. Doesn't let Buckley get too far. It is a positive game, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Well, they got that penalty back on this with the speed sweep coming across. Guys do a nice job reach blocking out there. And again, Buckley has just got, I really am amazed at how quick he is. I mean, watching him on film is one thing, but seeing him here live on up here at Chapman Lake, he's really got some wheels on him.
Well, good thing for Lakeland is he ran out of bounds, so it stops the clock. They didn't have to use any timeouts. So a big 3rd down here for both teams. Pretty much what you expect from a Bucks-Chiefs game. Low scoring and close. Buckley held up by Douglas and then hit by Spatero. And a 4th down, and the punt team has to come out. And it is a timeout by the Chiefs.
So they go with the counter on this with the Buckley running. And watch this hit.
Big hit, and we'll take a break. We'll take a quick timeout. We come back. The Bucks have the ball. So 4th down on the way, facing Dunmore. Padrika on. He has a good leg. And Mancuso's back to receive it. It's a low line kick away from Mancuso. It actually takes a bounce, and Pigeon actually picked it up. And some positive yards from Pigeon, about 5 on the play. And Lakeland's going to start this drive inside Dunmore territory, Coach. 1:19 left and a timeout. Heads-up play by Pigeon.
That really was. I mean, talk about being football ball awareness. He does a nice job. He picks it up on the bounce, and he gets the extra yardage for the Chiefs.
Really turned into a defensive game, hasn't it?
It really has. I didn't think so. I thought with Lakeland's offensive powers that they have out there, I thought this game would be a little bit more high scoring, especially for Lakeland. But credit the Dunmore Bucks defense. I'll tell you, they're shutting them down.
Absolutely. They came in, and you're well coached, and they were prepared for almost everything. So Patero trying to hit the slant to Snyder. Goes incomplete.
Well, the Chiefs ran that sluggo route, slant and go, out here towards their sideline, trying to make something happen here with less 1:15 left in there. Just a bad ball. I think it may have gotten tipped a little bit because it was fluttering out there.
Notice Patero's 1 for 6 his last 7 passes. They usually go to Dupree some point because they try to hit the tight end, but Dunmore is very aware of that.
They are. And again, but you have guys like Pigeon out there, and then you got Spatero in the backfield with his brothers, at the Q.
Here they get it out to Pigeon. Pigeon trying to get a block on the outside by Dupree and goes out of bounds. Gain of about 3 or 4. We have an injured Chief on the sideline. He got hit.
Jaron Bullock. They go with the screen pattern out here that they ran the last series, and that time C.J. Dupree wasn't able to get that contact he had to drive the defender out of bounds like he did last time. This time they were prepared for it, fought through, and they shut that down for a short gain.
They'll get the play from the sidelines. No huddle, but they're going to take their time with the clock stopped. Big 3rd down awaiting Lakeland. 4-man rush. He's got time. Spatero away from Mancuso. Great coverage by Keno out there, and it goes to 4th down. So the Bucks secondary has been up to the task.
They've done a nice job, and they really were on their heels last week in the Tunkhannock game when Tunkhannock came out no huddle. And I know Coach McHale said they had to practice it because they were concerned about that. So here we go. A little bit of one-back action there. He's got some time to throw the ball, and they're just great coverage out there.
So wisely, I think Lakeland will punt it away. Dupree. Ruggiero back to receive this kick. It's over his head. It's going to go to the end zone, being a touchback. Exactly 1 minute left in the half. Dunmore is going to take it out to the 20, and I don't expect them to do much. How about a couple quick scores? Western Wayne, we saw them against Prep this year. They're beating Valley View tonight, 13-8 so far. The Cavaliers shutting out West Scranton, 49-0. So a couple scores from up here. Holy Redeemer beating Holy Cross, 20-0. And that's about it from the Lackawanna Football Conference. North Pocono losing to Delaware Valley, and Crestwood beating Berwick down in the WVC. But that big surprise is that Valley View score, because they're in 2nd place in that 4A behind Crestwood. We'll see the Cougars and the Cavaliers next Saturday, hopefully, on Halloween. And we still haven't figured out what we're going to wear yet, Coach. Buckley comes up for about 7.
Well, I have a few ideas. I didn't know where we were going to go with that, but here we go. Here's the Dunmore, the buck sweep again. They're trying to get that power play buck sweep going in there. And again, Buckley is just, I'm telling you, I really like the way that kid runs.
You figure sooner or later he's going to break one.
He is, and the way that he just keeps, they keep pounding. And again, they're going to physically wear out Lakeland's defense.
The only thing good for the only thing Buckley has to do, I should say, is hold on to the ball, and he actually goes out of bounds after picking up the figure law first down and a gain of 7.
The one thing, you know what Dunmore's going to do and what part of their philosophy is, you know what we're going to do, and it's an easy read in terms of being a linebacker, but you still have to stop us. And a lot of teams have not had that success to be able to stop Dunmore's offense when they are on the way that they run that ball and when they're on that bead that they're doing.
I thought they had stopped the clock, but they have not. And that will do it. That will take us into the half. So it was a very entertaining 3.5 minutes of the first quarter. And then since then, things have settled down. We're tied at 6, and we're headed into the Toyota halftime report. We'll hear from our friends from Fox 56 News, and Hannah has a special guest. Coach and I will be back at halftime with highlights and then get you ready for the third quarter.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
It's halftime here at Friday Night Rivals, and we have stopped by Allied Services to talk to CEO and President Bill Conaboy. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Hannah.
Now, Allied Services, you guys are a big name in the community. You're one of the top employers in this area. Can you explain to some of our viewers who might not know, what is Allied Services?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Allied Services is a regional post-acute healthcare system. We do business in about 25 counties here in Northeast and Central Pennsylvania. We have 2 inpatient rehab hospitals. We have several skilled nursing facilities, personal care homes. We do home health, we do in-home, we do hospice, we do mental health, behavioral health. We have a vocational training center, etc. We do everything that's in the post-acute care arena of healthcare.
Now, some of your employees have worked here 30, 40, almost 50 years. What would you say makes Allied Services a great place to work?
Yes, we have, as you said earlier, we are one of the largest employers here in the region. We have just about 4,000 employees. And I'm here myself almost 30 years, and I'm still considered a new guy. So I'd like to think that it's the atmosphere, the collegiality that we have here at Allied Services. People genuinely care about each other. They've watched each other's children grow up. They've experienced good times and bad times, but they stick together, they care for each other, and most importantly, they respect each other and those we care for.
Now, elephant in the room, coronavirus. It's thrown a wrench into everybody's day-to-day life, a lot of jobs. What is Allied Services doing to kind of get over those hurdles of the pandemic?
Yes, we've been in the thick of it, again, particularly in post-acute care. People come to us from acute care hospitals. And of course, this has been part of the problem with the spread of COVID-19. So we've been in the thick of it. We've had many, many cases. And we've been at the front line with PPE, personal protective equipment for our employees, screening, etc., separating people. And we've done a lot. We're very proud of the work that we've done. We've brought many people from the beginning through successfully coming out of COVID-19. So we're in the thick of it. The storm is kind of quiet right now. We're hoping there's not a resurgence in our area, but we're very proud of the work we've done.
So whether it is injury or an illness, Allied Services is always helping people get back on their feet, and we want to thank you guys for what you've done in the community.
Thank you. We're honored to do the work we do in our community.
Thank you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you. During these particularly challenging times, we're pleased to continue our support of high school athletes and high school athletic programs throughout the communities we serve. We also honor our employees and all frontline workers who have held the line and stayed the course throughout this pandemic. Thank you.
And on behalf of the Allied Services Integrated Health System, we're happy to present Brian Wagner, the athletic director here at Lakeland, a check for $250. And we thank the Lakeland School District for allowing Friday Night Rivals to come into Lakeland Stadium. Let's bring it back upstairs now and check on Bob Ide right here. That's Jan Sechak, if you don't know him already. And we're enjoying what has turned into a defensive battle. First 3.5 minutes, we saw a couple fumbles. Then we saw a block punt. We'll show some highlights soon. But some excitement early on, and then things really settled down defensively.
Again, this game is known for low scoring and a defensive battle. And I really thought Lakeland, with all their offensive weapons, would have made a difference in the game. But credit Dunmore Bucks and their defense. They're playing great job, and they stopped them.
Yeah, the Bucks defense has held the Chiefs 22 plays, 43 total yards. They've really taken Giovanni Spataro, the leading rusher career-wise here for Lakeland, out of the game.
They really have. They've shut him down cold, and he's been a key factor to their success all season. And again, Dunmore's doing a great job defensively. Their offense needs to start moving the ball.
Well, the Bucks have done a little bit offensively. Buckley does have 98 yards rushing and a touchdown, 128 total yards for the Bucks. They've done just enough to get to 6 points, but credit the Chiefs defense for stacking things up as well.
And the Bucks have had great field position, and again, the Chiefs defense, again, led by C.J. Dupree and his brother out there, Licata, they're doing a great job covering the receivers. They're shutting down that offensive line, and it's going to be a battle in the second half of the offensive and defensive lines.
Let's check out some highlights from the first half, in the first quarter especially. First possession of the game, Spataro coughs it up, Temperino coughs it out, and Reyes recovers it.
And now we come back, and they just go with the outside zone. And again, there's Buckley getting in there for the lone touchdown for the Bucks.
Second possession, second play of the game.
And again, we have on there, Burke comes in and forces that fumble, and Reyes gets another fumble recovery.
But Dunmore's offense couldn't do anything off of that, so credit the Chiefs defense for at least holding them down. Now, they did have a field goal opportunity the second time they got the ball back.
And there's our Maryland, Division I, Maryland Terrapin, blocking the field goal and running 67 yards for the touchdown.
That's C.J. Dupree, of course. And then things kind of settled down. Couple turnovers, especially one here. And Lakeland's fumbled the ball 3 times in the first half. 2 have gone the other way. Luckily for them, it did.
On that one they did. And again, they have, despite the fumbles, they are still in this game. And what a huge hit right there. The officials said that his arm was going forward. That's why that was an incomplete pass.
So what can C.J. Dupree do?
He knocks down the pulling guard. He gets his hand right in there, and he gets another turnover for the Lakeland Chiefs.
The Chiefs in their alternate uniforms tonight. They're wearing the red, and they're hoping that red can mean a win. We'll have some second half adjustments from the coach as Lakeland takes the field for the second half. We'll be right back. Back at Lakeland Stadium and Chapman Lake, and there you see a nice crowd on hand. I'd say about 200 spectators between the Lakeland side and the Dunmore side. And it's a beautiful night. Clear skies, a little bit breezy as you might expect up here at the lake. So, Coach, offense. We need some offense. How do we get it? How do we get it?
We got to start attacking. And I liked what Dunmore started to do. They're starting to stretch the field. They're starting to use that to their advantage, especially with the way Buckley runs. Now, the offensive line for the Bucks, they've got to start taking care of that defensive line, which they haven't been able to do thus far. Now, with the Chiefs, they've got Pigeon, they've got Dupree, they've got Spataro. They've got to start spreading that ball out a little bit more, too, to try to be able to get those quick strikes that they had last week.
Well, the Lakeland offense, the low on the year, came against Wilkes-Barre. They only put up 107 yards on the ground, 154 through the air. They played 3 games. They average over 200 on both sides, running and passing. So they run a balanced attack. We talked about the Bucks defense. So what do the Chiefs now? They make adjustments. run the ball, pass the ball, what are they doing? What do they want to do?
I think they've got to come out and start throwing the ball, because Domenico has done a nice job. He's getting the time to throw it. He's just got to be a little bit more accurate and better communication with the receivers right before they break the huddle. They've got to give that little head nod saying to each other, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a hitch and go, or whatever it might be, a double move, just so that they're on the same page, because we saw some balls being overthrown.
Or the difference could be special teams. Dunmore had 2 opportunities for a field goal attempt from Pedrica. First one was a bad snap. Second one, we saw C.J. Dupree got his hands on it and took it for a touchdown. So Dunmore will get the ball to begin the third quarter. They lead in this series between the two teams, 28-13. Last year, 31-21 in the series lead, and 28-13 was the score last year down at Dunmore Veterans Stadium. So Jimmy McGrain will tee it up for the Chiefs, a Lackawanna College kickoff. And it looks like Ruggiero is back to receive, along with Christian Buckley. So the third quarter is about to get underway. It's a kick to Ruggiero from his 16. Takes a big hit and falls forward, and the Bucks will have it at their own 34. Hannah had a chance to talk to some coaches, and what they have to say, Hannah.
So it's a tied game, as we can see, and usually at this point, one team's already ahead, so how this plays out is very up in the air. But Coach Powersick says that the biggest challenge for his team isn't so much technical, but more on the mental side of things. Coach says a lot of the mistakes were because the guys were in their heads, and the 2 fumbles really put their morale down. He says his team has it in them to win the game. They just need to control the ball, play like they have in weeks past, and continue to stay positive. Bob and Jan, what do you think about it being mostly mental?
Early on, I think it was for the Chiefs.
It was, and the adrenaline's pumping in there, and you want to make the big play, and they settled down, obviously. And Hannah, like you said, Coach P knows his kids, he knows his players, and they really have done a nice job settling down.
Cross Douglas to the big hit here on Buckley.
And there's, that was huge. Huge hit by Cross. We haven't called his name too much. He's a big boy out there, too.
Yeah.
6 foot, 255 pounds. He's had 18 total tackles, and he's had 6 tackles for losses this year, plus 1 sack.
PSAC schools like Bloomsburg looking at Cross. So a lot of movement up front. And a flag comes in. That means more of Jason McDermott, our referee. Heard from him a bunch in that first half, unfortunately. And the Bucks are backing up.
Prior to the snap, false start, 48, offense.
Kinsel.
5-yard penalty, replay second down.
Well, brings up second and long. That's, if you're the Chiefs, that's where you want the Dunmore Bucks. And make Bowen throw, the freshman.
Put the pressure on him. And it was interesting watching the defensive line that time for Lakeland. They were doing a stunt where they all the defensive linemen were going to the left gap.
Chiefs want to pull out a win at homecoming and what could be their last game of the season. As Buckley comes up through, taken down by Bulick. Got about the 5 back.
A little bit more. Again, they're not going to change anything. They're going with that ISO play. And again, Buckley has a great burst and a great vision for that line, and he got that yardage back to make it more manageable third down.
I did say about 5. He got 8.
He got 8. Well, it's that new math.
Back to 2-0. Almost broke it out, but he does pick up a figure law first down. How about 8 more? So a good job off that right-hand side of the Bucks offensive line.
Bob, you had mentioned earlier in the first half, they're going to keep feeding him the ball, and he is going to break it open. We keep seeing it. He shows those glimpses. But again, the Chiefs' defense is being really stingy out there and shutting that down.
Dunmore had 2 wins this year. They opened up with a win over Wallenpaupack and then beat Mid-Valley before losing to Tunkhannock last week. Back to number 20.
Again, just that inside ISO right there, going to the right side of the line. There, Dunmore's going to Connor Bloom and Tyler Maciejewski's side. Again, they are 6'6", 240 and 6'3", 250. They are big offensive linemen out there.
Flag coming in. Maybe some movement up front. It will cost Dunmore second penalty.
Snap, false start, 52, offense, 5-yard penalty, replay second.
Rare mistakes you don't see from Dunmore Buck teams a lot.
No, and Coach P was talking about the Chiefs making mental mistakes, and now I'm sure Coach McHale's going to get a little frustrated with the kids making these type of mental mistakes. They know what the count is. That's what the quarterbacks tell them to play and what the count is, and they have to be more disciplined.
Big push from the line. Brings it up for third down on the way as you see the Chiefs cheerleaders. Five plays, all to number 20.
Yep, and again, they're going to keep doing it. He's going to break it. And that's a pretty good, I like the offensive line surge on there, but again, the second and third levels for the Chiefs are right there to stop any big gains.
So a big third down here early on in the third. Buckley strung out, can't get near a first down, but he gets inside Lakeland territory, I should say. Fourth down, and let's see if Dunmore will punt the ball. You would think they would, 5 yards short.
Now on this play, they went motion with the outside, the Z receiver to bring him in. It brought the corner in, opening up the outside of the field. And again, put Buckley out there, let him try to do what he does best. And they did bring the punt team out.
Siemens and Spatero on the tackle, and this will be Padrika punting it over to Mancuso. Now Mancuso has broken one. We talked about the punt return against Wilkes-Barre, that one then pretty much tied the game. So they'll kick it away from him, and it will take a roll into the end zone and a touchback now for the Chiefs. So Lakeland comes back on, just 43 yards of offense in that first half, and Domenico Spatero underneath center, number 13. Let's see now what the Chiefs can do. I mean, they average 40 points per game, Coach. 400 yards total offense average per game.
Those are incredible numbers to have. And again, some of the competition they've played, obviously they've outclassed and they've been out athleticized those other teams and taken full advantage of what they've been given. And to get 400 yards per game, that says a lot to the offense and what they're trying to do up here at Lakeland.
Wins over Mid-Valley, Wilkes-Barre, and Riverside so far. Back to Spatero, and he still moves. Weight room coming into effect. He's pulled by Dupree, and after being really stopped for no gain, they're going to mark the chains off for 8.
Well, that was a nice job. And again, Spatero is just a tough young man.
Who may now have an ankle problem. We'll have to see. He's coming off.
You'll just see. They just go with the power game right in there. They just blow it up. And he just keeps those feet moving. He refuses to go down. And again, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 bucks around. And again, there's C.J. Dupree. His teammates all pushing him forward. It looked like somebody landed on his leg in that. I couldn't tell if it was a buck or if it was a Chief.
It'll be a tough loss.
I'm joined by Naomi Dowdy. She is the residential supervisor for Lackawanna County. Naomi, tell me a little bit about your job.
So I'm the residential supervisor for the Behavioral Health Division. What I mostly do is assist, guide, and coach the staff members that we have to integrate and work well with the residents that we have.
So if somebody was interested in a job in behavioral health, how could they prepare for that?
So they just need to have a high school diploma or equivalent. They're driven, compassionate, able to assist with integrating that person into the community. And they also just need to be motivated to help that person succeed overall in life. We're here to guide that person so they'll be able to transition into independent housing eventually.
So are there any current positions open in the behavioral health program?
Yes, we have the full-time and part-time positions open for the mental health worker. This position has sign-on bonuses available and incentives that we also offer.
Well, Naomi, thank you so much for joining us today. If you head to alliedservices.org and search careers, you can find your next job in behavioral health.
Thank you, Hannah. And Giovanni Spatero had walked off on his own accord, and he will actually come back into the game after the penalty. So good to see him back, and he doesn't look like he has any limp or anything. And the second down on the way for Lakeland.
Well, Bob, you mentioned about the weight room, and that's where this comes into big-time play. These young men spend a lot of time in the offseason in the weight room trying to get themselves bigger, faster, and stronger, and that's the result right there.
So back to Spatero. Well, the leg looks fine. He's out for about 12 yards. It's a Figure Law Firm first down. And let's see now if that can spark the Lakeland offense.
Well, Giovanni Spatero, this is what he does, and he does it so well. I mean, he's rushed for almost 4,000 yards in his career. He's had 19 100-yard gains, and just that type of tough running is what sets him apart from other running backs.
And Brandon Barry, number 55, the lead blocker there. And he needs 142 yards, does Spatero, to top 4,000 in his career. And that would be the 18th back in the Lackawanna League to do so. But right now, Dunmore's not going to let him do that as he's up for just about a yard on that play.
I mean, that's if he was to get that. And here we go. Watch Dunmore's defense. They're stout. They're playing with their arms. And 27 does a nice job. Dom Temperino taking on that block, wrong-arming it, blowing the play up, and allowing Spatero nowhere to run.
Last couple of years, we've called Temperino's name a lot from his defensive end position. Stalwart on the defensive side of the ball. So second and long now facing the Chiefs. Spatero flipped over. 3rd and 5 on the way.
The Bucs defense is really well disciplined. You'll see that they do a nice job stepping up, and Spatero cuts back. But look, there's all these white jerseys, and here he comes flying right down number 20, Christian Buckley.
You talked about Buckley's defense in our pregame show. He has 11 total tackles coming in. And Coach talked about that. He does everything for him. He's like the C.J. Dupree of the Bucs.
He is. Just not quite as big in stature, but again, I think their hearts, when it comes to this game, they love it and they breathe it, and you can just see the passion those young men have for this game.
Back to the ground. Spatero going to be short. Gain of 2, 4th down now on the way.
So now Spatero's and the Chiefs are now starting to pound the Bucs now to try to wear them down in this game. That's going to be through attrition in terms of offensive and defensive line. Who's going to be able to get this done in the 4th quarter?
We haven't seen any play action, so maybe that's what you're going to see from Lakeland. Hold those linebackers for Dunmore close and get it out to their big tight end. So on 4th down, Coach P is going to roll the dice on his side of the field, and nope, he's going to call a timeout, and he's going to hold the dice and see what happens. 3:58 left in the 3rd. No score in this quarter. Remains 6-6.
Beston's Auto Body and Collision Center are the area's #1 collision and insurance claims center, serving Northeast Pennsylvania for nearly 30 years. At Beston's Auto Body and Collision Center, when you're in an accident, remember one thing: it's your choice and your money.
So congratulations to Crestwood. They're beating Berwick tonight. And here are the standings in 3A. And we talked about the three-way fight, and we're also fighting COVID-19. And we're fighting bigger numbers coming in for the virus in Lackawanna County. And, you know, a lot of things could happen in the next 2 weeks, as November 6th looks like it might be title day against two teams. Who those two are remains undecided and up in the air. Lake Lehman has some COVID tests being put on right now, and they could be out or they could be back. Prep has been so far steady. They're beating West Scranton tonight. Lakeland, as we've heard this week, might not be continuing after tonight. A call will be made on that on Monday. That's all fall sports. And then you have Wyoming area who might just sneak right in. So who's going to be in the 3A title game, you know, who knows? So fourth down, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's see what happens with the Chiefs. There is the play action, and it is to the tight end, and it's overthrown. Aquino with the coverage, and they're going to call a late flag. I mean, really late flag comes in, and this is going to go against the Bucks as Dupree says, I was held. Well, that's one for the replay books. We'll have to see.
Yeah, that flag came in so late. That's why I was really surprised it came in. But, well.
Pass interference. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty. Result of the play is first down.
So it's not a hold. It's an interference call. Here it is, Coach.
Dylan Aquino. Again, you called it, Bob, the tight end pop pass.
It's hard to tell on that angle without seeing Dupree running down the field, but he was impeded.
He was impeded, but again, they made the call, and it is what it is. We don't have that luxury.
So back to the ground they go. Spatero bounces to the outside. He has some wheels. The leg looks good, and he is down inside the Allied Services red zone for the first time tonight. Are the Chiefs. Great run by the school's all-time leading rusher.
Giovanni Spatero. This is, again, it's a pleasure to watch this young man run. Does a nice job. The offensive line opens a hole, and he gets out there, gets a good break, and then Dunmore comes in. Aquino comes in there to stop him, and Nico Ruggiero.
20-yard run has Lakeland knocking on the door, trying to take their first lead of the evening. The Chiefs 3-0 on the year. Late flag comes in. Sideline warning against the Chiefs.
No yardage. That's the first warning.
That's just someone got in the referee's way.
Well, he pointed to Dunmore, though, so I'm not.
Oh, did he? I'm sorry.
No, he did. He pointed towards Dunmore, so.
So it is on. So the Dunmore sideline got in the way. Apologize. My apologies to the Lakeland sidelines. To Spatero. Feeling it. Good blocking off the right side. He picks up about 7. So now this Chiefs offense starting to get rolling.
You'll see right here, they just go with that split look. They send fullback left, trying to get linebackers to go to the right side here, and then he comes back. It's a very good play call for the Chiefs right now.
They've done this all on the ground so far, except for the one interference pass play. Off the left side, Burke gets a hand on him, and Marzocco makes a nice tackle along with Bloom. So the line to gain is inside the 10, and he's going to be about a yard and a half short.
You'll see number 55 pulling on here. 44, they're load blocking up in there. And again, the way the Dunmore, and there, you called his number 52, coming right down on that. That was a nice job with that read, and the linebackers flowing, shutting that down.
So now the Bucks defense needs to step in. Here's a third down play inside the Allied Services red zone. The quarterback sneak. First time tonight, and we are up and through. First and goal, Lakeland Chiefs after the Figure Law Firm first down.
He found the bubble right in that defense right there. And again, the linebacker needs, or I should say number 52, Connor Bloom, again, in that instance, should have stayed home, but he stood up, and that's why Domenico was able to get that quarterback sneak, get that figured first down in the red zone.
Cross Douglas with a nice block in there as well. Seal it with the seal-off block. So back to the eye. Two tight ends. Spataro bounces it outside. Puts the ball up, and he is short. No, it is in. A Hazelton Honda touchdown for the Lakeland Chiefs. Spataro takes it in.
On this, you'll see, again, fullback now goes right, and Giovanni goes left. And again, one-on-one, he's out there. He lays that ball out over. They were looking to confer to make sure he wasn't out of bounds, and that's why the late call came in for the touchdown.
So the Chiefs now looking, I believe, going for 2. Domenico comes over to Coach P. They want to go up 8. They're going to have to watch the play clocks at 16 already, so let's see. Do they go to that trips? We've seen a lot of this, what the stack eye.
Mm-hmm. With yeah, well.
We've seen a lot of it against other teams, and they're going to call timeout. So we'll stay right here until after the extra point. Or the 2-point conversion, I say, and you know, one of those 2-point conversions that stands out is the one against Wilkes-Barre, and it was that little loop pass.
And that won them the game,
yeah.
And that could be the difference in this game right now.
Let's go down quickly to Hannah with some special guests.
Bob, I'm with Melina Berthoff, Lily Sokolowski, May Bednash, and Kyla Erdman, all Lakeland cheerleaders. Now, ladies, you're all seniors, so how does it feel to have your senior year?
It feels really good to be on the field and watch our boys play and actually see fans in the stand, so it's good to have that. We weren't expecting a season at all, so it's nice to be here.
Well, you guys are doing a great job. Now, it's obvious we're standing a little farther apart than we're used to. That's just one of the changes coronavirus has caused for us. How are practices and game days looking a little different for you guys?
Well, we have to wear a mask at all times, and we're not allowed to stunt, but we still made the best of it. We're still able to do our normal dances, our normal cheers, just a little farther apart.
Now, there's not a lot of fans out there tonight, so how do you guys make sure that momentum stays high and these guys stay motivated out there on the field?
No matter the circumstances, we always try our best to maintain smiles and keep the crowd going. If it's 4 people or 1,000 people, we always try our best to get everyone going and our teammates as well.
Now, we've heard it over and over. Everything is unknown. We don't know what's going to happen next. If it were up to you, what would you hope to see happen with sports and the rest of the school year?
I think anyone can say we would obviously love to continue with sports, especially basketball season. However, unfortunately, it's not a time to be selfish. We have to put safety first, but I'm sure eventually we can figure out a way where everyone can get back to school safely.
Well, ladies, best of luck to you with the rest of your season. And Bob and Jan, hopefully we see these guys during basketball season. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll look at the 2-point conversion. Thanks to those ladies. 11 play, 80-yard drives. Gives Lakeland the Chiefs, and we'll be back after this. So the Lackawanna College kickoff from the Chiefs to Dunmore after the 80-yard drive. 9 runs by Giovanni Spataro, but we'll might have time. We'll do the
Wayne's Family Diner in German on South Washington Ave serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day starting at 6 a.m. Everything we serve is homemade with the freshest ingredients. Homemade meals at their finest, including soups and desserts. Good food, good friends, good times.
So Buckley opens it up, and he finds room to run. Couple stiff arms. Siemens finally gets him out of bounds. And no flag. But a great run by Christian Buckley inside Chief territory, about 25 yards.
All right, the Bucks go with the counter tray. They're pulling number 53, and number 52 and 75 on that play. And Buckley, we said, is going to get going. I guess he's now going to try to match Giovanni Spataro and try to get into that end zone.
Well, just like that, we have ourselves a little bit of offense after the long drive by the Chiefs. So Dunmore now getting things going, trailing by 8. Some big holes for Buckley. He shoots through for about 6.
Here you go. You see number 52, Connor Bloom, coming down, lead blocking with the fullback load blocking out there to spring Buckley there for a good 5 yards.
Buckley is the main guy. They're splitting time the last couple of years. He's, again, a nice hole. Figure Law Firm first down. The Bucs sideline wants, I don't know, some kind of penalty, a face mask or something.
There is a flag.
So he has the first down, and now, takes that mask off. Maybe this is holding his side. We'll look at this one again. So this one may add on to that run.
Personal foul, face mask.
Well, just like Lakeland was helped by the interference call, this is now going to help.
You'll see this, that ISO, they're really starting to attack that inside. And right here, you'll see when he pulls him over, right there's the face mask. And again, the official was right there and threw that so fast.
Chris Nolan with the penalty for the Chiefs. So this should take them inside the Allied Services red zone. They haven't marked it off yet.
Well, Buckley has to come out for at least one play. He came out on his own accord, so we know he seems okay, but the trainer has to check him out.
This might set up first and goal. No, they're going to be just outside the 10 at about the 13-yard line. Inside the red zone. I don't think Dunmore's been inside the red zone since the first quarter.
First quarter, correct.
Flag going to go against the Bucs now?
The snap, false start, 67 offense, 5-yard penalty.
That drives a coach nuts.
You work so hard, you get there, and again, just a little bit too anxious. Austin Breslin, number 67 on that, he just jumped a little bit to try to get everybody going. Patience, patience, patience.
He's the youngest member of that offensive line. He's the sophomore. He's a big sophomore.
He's the biggest. He's the youngest.
So Ruggiero off the pitch. He finds room. Siemens has him. And almost another face mask by the Chiefs. So after the pitch play, about no gain.
You'll see they go with the toss play. Shane Barrett steps in there, blitz. Watch his angle of attack. Again, ruthless and relentless as this defense has been for the Chiefs all night.
So the Bucs on the move, trying to tie this one up. They'll have to do it in the fourth quarter. It's Chiefs 14, Bucs 6.
Kathleen McGuigan, your Geico Scranton local agent, is a proud sponsor of high school football and wishes good luck to both the Dunmore and Lakeland football programs.
Back up at Chapman Lake, Bob Ide, Jan Cechek, Hannah O'Reilly. A Lackawanna Football Conference Division III championship is on the line. And it's been a defensive battle really since the early parts of the first quarter. I should say late parts of the first quarter. But now, here late in the third quarter, Lakeland put a nice drive together. And now Dunmore's putting a nice drive together, looking to score and two-point conversion.
And I'll tell you what, Bob, we said this was going to be an exciting game, and now it's the fourth quarter. We're seeing the offenses starting to wake up, and it's going to hold, all I can say is strap in and enjoy the game.
Well, a lot of these players do play both ways, so maybe at the defense side is starting to wear down. Lakeland reads that, and they can't go anywhere. Buckley stood up by Dupree first, and then the other Dupree, and along with Barrett.
These guys are making plays when they have to. It's amazing. Again, Dupree takes on the pulling guard of Connor Bloom, sheds him, and then makes the hit. First contact, and his brother cleans it up.
So 3rd and long, do we see the freshman try to get it up into the air? He did throw for 201 yards last week, 11 of 26 against the Tigers. Hasn't done much throwing here tonight. They will. Here comes the rush. He stands in the pocket. Over the middle of the triple coverage and almost picked off by Mancuso.
Again, he was looking for Dom Temperino that whole time. And as a freshman quarterback, he's going to have to learn to start going through his read progressions. He's looking. He's doing a good job, but he was just kind of telegraphed where he was going. And again, not the wisest decision, triple coverage, Bob.
No field goal attempt now. Bowen comes in with the play on 4th down for the Dunmore Bucks, trailing by 8. No choice for Kevin McHale to make this call. If anything, they give Lakeland bad field position. So we have 4 wideouts in, and Bowen in the shotgun. Here comes the rush to the end zone. Oh, almost caught. Temperino, I don't know if he saw it or didn't, but it fell just short of his hands, and it almost was caught, but almost intercepted because it went over two guys from Lakeland.
You'll see right here, now he's going through his progressions. He's looking, and Temperino is behind the secondary, and it got tipped at the last minute there by, trying to see the number. He's helping him up. It's number Spatero. Giovanni Spatero just tipped that ball enough to get that out of his hands.
So Chiefs defense holds. They have the ball just outside the 15. Trying now to get some time off that clock. They're going to go to the air, and on the in pattern, pigeon in and out of his hands.
That was a well-thrown ball. Boy, he threw that right on the line. That was a great job. Pigeons right now, again, we haven't seen much of him, and to open him up in the 4th quarter, you know he's going to be cold, especially with his hands on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, the leading receiver has 7 catches coming in for 231 yards and 4 touchdowns.
I've always said the slant is probably the hardest pattern to defend against because you know that the receiver's going to be hitting. You don't know what he's doing then when he bounces inside.
They'll go back to the ground. Giovanni out into the open. Stood up by Buckley. They go arm in arm, each trying to get a stiff arm in there, and finally he is brought down just outside the 40-yard line.
You'll see right here now. Here we go. Backside guard number 55. Brandon Berry helping with the lead blocking in there. And Spatero, again, just tries to stiff arm, use that strength. And, again, that just allowed the Bucks more time to get in there to take him down.
Keno also on the tackle, but a 25-yard gain for Giovanni. And he's really put things together here, and give credit to the offensive line as well.
Those guys have been doing a good job all night. Cross Douglas, Brandon Berry, John Klaus Walton, Mason Ormsby, and Colin Klaus Walton.
Well, that time, Dunmore's up to the task. Kinsel in on the tackle. Gain of 1.
You'll see Spatero right there. Again, Kinsel just does a nice job. And again, number 27 is out there. Dom Temperino has been playing very good, very consistent all game.
It's a much different offense Dunmore seeing than they did last week with Tunkhannock, which is more spread out and really puts a lot of pressure on the secondary.
It did, and when they went no huddle, add some more of that pressure to it. Again, they knew Lakeland was going to be pounding it out just like what the Dunmore Bucks are known for.
Spatero trying to find any kind of hole. Lost the ball, I think, momentarily, and dives to recover it, and he does. Gain of about 3, 3rd down upcoming.
Here we go. ISO again. There's 44 lead blocking for him. Again, there's nothing there off the edge. And again, the corner does a nice job stepping down. The ball did come out. And it's not that it's cold out. It's not that it's wet out. That's the Dunmore Bucks really working on that strip drill, trying to force turnovers.
Which they did right at the beginning of the game. 2 times in a row they caused a fumble. Under 9 to play in the game. Division III title on the line, and more importantly, some points for each team. Giovanni Domenico, and he's up for a figure law first down inside Dunmore territory.
Do a nice job with the RPO in here. They call this a divide, and you could tell that by the way the quarterback is shuffling, and what that's allowing him to do is to be able to read where the defense is, whether he's going to give it or keep it, and obviously he keeps it and cuts right back up into the first hole he saw, and that was a nice pickup for Domenico Spatero.
15 yards for number 13. Now they are wearing their alternate jerseys tonight. He usually wears number 1. But there wasn't a number 1 available, I guess. So
the booster club will be making sure that they have the matching numbers.
So this is going to cost the Chiefs, I think, about 5 yards, and more importantly, stop the clock.
Number 13, offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay first.
Took a little bit too much time. Now, for the Bucks who are tired, some guys with their hands on their hips, they need to make a stop, get the ball back.
There's still a lot of time, and especially how close this game is, they definitely have to make a stop on this series.
QB sneak. Kinsel grabs the ankles. Couple yards on that.
Well, Spatero, again, they run the same exact play, except this time now they brought the C.J. Dupree was the lead blocker coming from his tight end position from the right side to the left side. Add a little bit of a wrinkle in there.
Let's see if now if they try to get it to Dupree at some point. He's in the slot position. Two Spateros talking it over in the backfield. Looking left, going left. And he completes the pass out to Mancuso. And he's going to be up near the 30-yard line. Let's see where the mark is.
Again, they go with this play. Again, they get trips out there. Again, Giovanni comes in and then he angles back into the linebacker to try to influence him to make sure that he comes back inside with him to open up that gap towards the outside.
Good job by Aquino to minimize the gain, just 2 on that. So 3rd down upcoming.
Stop, Chiefs. It's time to win. Red, blue, let's do it.
Again, Dupree in the slot. No safety back over the middle. Here comes the blitz. Spatero just going to tuck and run for a figure law first down, and I think he's got it. Flag comes in really late. After he had picked up the first down, it's right in the middle of the field.
We saw Dom Temperino, again, put so much pressure on there. It's almost like he knew what the play was, trying to get that handoff.
They're looking over Dunmore's way. This may be going against Lakeland. They go block in the back. Way downfield, away from the play, too.
Is the flag? It goes from the flag back, right?
So he had a first down, but they'll lose it on the penalty.
Yes, yes. Illegal block in the back. Number 9, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
Giovanni didn't help his brother on that.
I'm sure they'll be talking about that over at breakfast tonight or tomorrow.
Good, it's a great run.
It's a great run.
And a good block in there, but I don't know if that was the block or it was tough to see.
Yeah, it was hard to see who that was.
So, okay, anyway, spot foul, 3rd down and long. They're going to go up top. And they have a receiver. And Mancuso finds the ball and finds the Hazleton Honda touchdown. 36 yards.
Nick Mancuso showing that he's got some wheels, and he just got right behind the corner, and that was a great job by Nico Spataro throwing that touchdown strike. Again, he has the time to throw the ball, and again, a nice throw, well-thrown ball, well-placed ball, and again, nice job by Mancuso to get behind that secondary.
He got behind Reyes, couple steps, and it was a great pass, as you said. So Timmy McGrain in for the extra point, and he was the king of the court tonight, was Timmy McGrain.
Yes, he was.
In the homecoming. So extends the Lakeland lead. Kick is up, and it is through. So 6:21 left in the game. The Chiefs starting to pull away a little bit here in this battle for Division III. We are back, getting ready for the Lackawanna College kickoff from the king of the court, little squibbler. Oh, bounces by Ruggiero. It's still a live ball. Finally picks it up at the 6. And he's going to be brought down back at the 11. So a bit of a mistake there for the Bucks. Really backs them up to a long, long drive if they want to get back in this game.
For more than a century, Lackawanna College has been changing lives. Now you can earn your bachelor's degree from a respected school close to home with the most affordable tuition in the region. Apply today at lackawanna.edu.
So here come the Bucks back. Now trailing by 15. Trying to get Buckley anything. Doesn't have any room to run, and he's brought down quickly by Mason Orsby in the middle.
So they go speed sweep, but key to this was Dylan Aquino on the outside doing a great job with the stalk block in there to allow Buckley now to cut back up inside for a very, very short gain.
Dunmore's not going to change much offensively, even though they're trailing. Buckley up toward near a first down. It's going to be short. Bowen's going to get the play in quick.
Again, they go toss left. Again, everybody's going out there. And Buckley, again, very patient, but he's got that nice burst. Gets close. He got, what, 7 yards on that play, I suppose.
Well, they need first down due to the Bucks. That's obvious to get back in this game. I don't know, Dupree really read that quickly, got in, but I think Buckley's going to be up and get a figure law first down. So just under 5 minutes to play. Move the chains. Let's see if Bowen goes to the air a little bit. So they need a quick touchdown and get the ball back.
They should be able to get somebody downfield. And I suspect Dylan Aquino has been doing a nice job getting open. They just got to get the ball to him.
Out to Temperino. The tight end pulls it down, gets bent back by Dupree, and not sure who was on the bottom of that tackle. Pick up about 5.
Just go with a quick out here to Temperino coming out of the backfield. And again, let's see who it is. 20. Well, couldn't see who it was. But again, nice gang tackling by the Chiefs right now.
Chiefs offense came in just giving up 194 yards per game. They've been playing pretty well, except for that one long drive. And they're going to go up top, and a little bit of hand fighting out there. No flag. Ruggiero can't pull it in.
Well, we thought they would go down, and they did. Ruggiero had a chance for this ball, he has time now. Bowen has time to throw this ball. Good ball, good placement.
So the freshman QB a little bit under pressure now. They're going to go 3 wide. Here comes the blitz by the Chiefs, out quickly. Temperino has a figure loft first down and a little bit more.
And he smartly runs out of bounds to stop that clock. Again, he's really cool, calm, and collected back there. Good ball placement behind him, and he reached back for that, and he gets it, and more importantly, he steps that right out of bounds.
So they're up past the 40. Buckley not really being covered. They're going to go over the middle. Is it intercepted? Signal right now, I believe, is, and it is, an INT. Shane Barrett with his first one of the senior, and it's a big one for the senior. First one of the year.
That ball got tipped, and again, for number 44, Shane Barrett, what a great way to end a homecoming game. Right there, the ball gets tipped, and he got away with one. Again, the officials had a hard time. They don't have that positioning like we have, or the advantage we have to see that in replay. But there is no replay in high school.
Nope.
So Shane Barrett has his first interception of the season.
So Lakeland's on the way to remaining undefeated. Do they have a season to continue? We're told maybe next week the decision will be made, but right now, this may be their last game. As the school board up here has motioned to stop fall sports starting next week.
And the shame in that would be their girls cross country is undefeated. Or girls soccer is undefeated. Their cross country is undefeated. The kids are having a great year, and to stop it, I understand the safety perspective. And that replay right there, they do the smoke screen with CJ Dupree coming in, and he does a nice job getting a first down for the Chiefs.
And Dunmore, meanwhile, has to keep track. They could lose 2 in a row. Lackawanna Trail picks things back up. They're 1-0. They have a game Monday and Saturday next week. Again, no AA playoff, just a champion crowned. Spataro up for about 7.
Giovanni Spataro on this. Again, they come back with that RPO in there, and he does a nice job picking his holes out, coming up, and then making the stop is number 48, Kinsel. Nice job by the Dunmore defense right now. Again, they just got to stop and get that ball back.
The Bucks will face Riverside. They'll host them next week. If Lakeland were to continue, they don't have a game scheduled next week, because they were supposed to play Delaware Valley, but they chose not to play Delaware Valley. Delaware Valley's probably going to be involved in the 6A championship game next Friday. So Domenico to the outside, gets a corner, flag comes in again. Might be another block in the back.
Well, Kieran Reyes came up with his hands up. Another flag coming in. Kieran Reyes came up with his hands like, come on, I just got tackled.
Holding, number 11 offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second.
So Kevin Schneider going to be flagged for that.
Again, Nico Spataro didn't like what he sees, so he just takes it and runs, turns the matter into his own hands. And right there, you can see the hand was behind. He grabbed the cloth on the back of the numbers.
So it looks like Lakeland will win their 22nd game in this series. Remain undefeated. And again, awaiting if they'll play again this season. Domenico stays in bounds and is finally tackled. Clock continues to roll. They're inside the 25.
He was brought down by a young man's name we really have been calling too much tonight, Dom Temperino. Good pursuit from his defensive end position to make that tackle.
Dunmore calls timeout with under 2 minutes here to play. And as we expected and talked to Coach McHale, he said it's going to be a close, low-scoring game, and that's exactly what has happened.
Wayne's Family Diner in German on South Washington Ave, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day starting at 6 a.m. Everything we serve is homemade with the finest ingredients, homemade meals at their finest, including soups and desserts. Good friends, good food, good times. And again, Bob, I ate there, had dinner there about 2 weeks ago, and I walked out with 2 doggy bags full. Great food up there.
You didn't save one of those doggies for me, so that's all I know. So the Chiefs, one of 411 games in their illustrious program. Of course, Jeff Wasilchak was a longtime coach. Jerry Wasilchak, which the field house is named after. His dad was here a long time. Coach P coached under Coach Wasilchak for many years, couple years too, and has his program going in the right direction. A great senior class, kind of expected too. You saw this one coming. So on the fake, Domenico towards the end zone. It's a Hazelton Honda touchdown for the Lakeland Chiefs, but hold the phone, we have a flag down at the 21-yard line. And it's holding against the Chiefs.
Holding, number 54, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Well, I know it takes a touchdown off the board, and it's a great run.
It was. They did that RPO. They did a nice job with the fake disconnect, and I think Domenico, he was saying, you know what, Giovanni, I think I can score too.
Instead, it will back them up 10 yards to the 31, but they do have a first down, and they have time on their side once the clock rolls. So you figure another running play coming, make Dunmore use their timeouts.
Yeah, the Chiefs will not be pressed to try to get to the line of scrimmage anytime soon.
Well, they have to find the line of scrimmage. Ball's on the left hash. Giovanni taken down quickly behind the line of scrimmage. Probably looks like Brislin. Timeout Dunmore. So District 2 playoffs starting next week as we see it's a Keystone College timeout. 6A finals will be next Friday, looking like Hazelton and Delaware Valley. And then, of course, 5A Wyoming Valley West automatically goes into the states. 4A, well, that's Crestwood and,
And they were doing
Valley
a nice
View
job.
was losing tonight. Dallas is there. So, remains to be seen. That will be a championship game. 3A is a championship game. AA is ratings. And Old Forge has already taken the title because Holy Cross is backed out. And our schedule, again, is next Friday. We've had a couple games scheduled already, but things are in motion. We'll let you know Monday where we will be next week on Friday, but Saturday, hoping to get a Halloween game with Valley View and Scranton Prep. A lot on the line there for both teams. That's a 1:30 kickoff on Halloween, so coach can go trick-or-treating at night. Socially distant trick-or-treating with the mask.
Believe me, I don't need a mask. I scare a lot of people.
Little inside shovel pass to Dupree. And he gets about 9. Clock remains on the move, 90 seconds in this one. And should be a homecoming win now for the Chiefs as Dunmore calls their last timeout of this half. District 4 starts their playoffs next week. It's another Keystone College timeout, by the way. So a lot going on in District 4. District 11, as we've talked about, has opted out of the state playoffs for their own district championships.
We've seen a lot of good football this year. Yeah. In the short amount of time, we've covered some really good games. We've seen some really good teams. And the playoff picture is just going to be so muddied up because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And then, Bob, like you said, next Friday night game to be determined. It changes almost hourly for us in terms, and I feel bad for our crew that gets the call to go set up, and then they're told, nope, we're going somewhere else. So it's just going to be a tough road for everybody. I mean, but tonight it was nice to see the cheerleaders, the band, and the parents here up here at Lakeland, and the Dunmore faithful. They had a few out there.
Valley View lost tonight to Western Wayne, 25-6. So a big win for the Wildcats. Now they can put their name back on the AAA map as well. As Spatero up for a figure law first down, up at the 10, and that should just about do it. No way for Dunmore to stop the clock. It's a big one for Domenico, and he will give his brother a nice send-off with a win here on homecoming evening. So 3 seniors on that offensive line. Could be their last game. Along with Barrett, it's Patero. Pigeon's a senior. Romanowski's a senior. So these guys have played, I believe, I mean, we saw Spatero 4 years ago. That was Giovanni. He played when Dupree started at the quarterback as a freshman. So these guys have been around a long time. As a big hit out of bounds, put on by Aquino. Spatero's coming up a limp gimp a little bit.
They go with the RPO, and again, Spatero just keeps it. Doing a nice job, and you're going to see where the flag comes in because he's down, and then it's just that extra turn at the end.
Again, no love lost between these two teams.
No.
It is a rivalry. They're calling a block.
Illegal block in the back.
So 30.
Illegal block in the back. Number 55 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
38 seconds left. This game really started out with fireworks. Couple fumbles by Lakeland. They recovered from that.
Again, credit the coaching staff and what they've done here, keeping the kids in check, making sure that they didn't let those 2 fumbles really dictate how this game was going to be played out.
And that 6 points by Dunmore, that was on the first fumble of the game. The second play, Buckley took it in, and that's all Dunmore has shown offensively tonight. Oh, Riverside, I believe, picked up a win against Mid-Valley tonight. So they will face the Bucks next week. Tipped at the line of scrimmage.
By number 59.
As the Chiefs are inside the Allied Services red zone.
That ball was tipped by Braden Ruther.
67 got it.
Oh, 67?
Yep. Brislin.
All right. I was trying to give...
You can give a shout out.
I was giving him a shout out.
Go ahead.
I saw some hustle out there, that's why.
Good angle from our crew. Nice job by our crew again. We've done a lot of games in a short amount of time. 2 games next week on the schedule, then playoffs for us in November. And remember, coming up after the game, Hano will have our Allied Services players of the game, and I think we're looking at Dupree and Giovanni, 2 of the seniors. CJ Dupree, that is, and Giovanni Spatero. We'll hand them a FNR plaque as well. And that should just about do it. The time will run out on the carry by Nolan. And the crowd starts to applaud. And they should, as the Chiefs at homecoming and their final game here at Lakeland Stadium, and possibly their final game of the year, will win this one over the Bucks. As we have a fumble at the end. And the clock hits 0, and the final score will read Lakeland 21, Dunmore 6. That's the 22nd win in the series by the Chiefs. They get back from last year's win with the Bucks down at Veterans Stadium. When we come back, we'll have our post-game show and our players of the game.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
The victory bell is rung here at Lakeland as they pull off a big win over the rivals, Dunmore 21-6. Hannah's down with our players of the game.
Great game from Lakeland tonight. I am here with tonight's players of the game, Giovanni Spatero and CJ Dupree. Giovanni, I'm going to start with you. Great game tonight. You rebounded after 2 early fumbles. How were you able to keep your composure after that?
Just the coaches, the kids tell me I'm going to be all right. Just keep going. You got to forget about stuff like that and just keep moving forward.
Now, CJ, you blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown. Take us through what was going through your mind at that moment.
Well, I mean, obviously my buddy here had a little rough beginning, so I mean, we just had to compromise as a team. I mean, we never put our heads down no matter what happened, and I saw a gap there after they kicked it the first time. I just hit the hole and I made a big play.
Now, this might be your last game of the season. If that's the case, how do you guys feel, especially being seniors?
It sucks, obviously. We'd love to get into the playoffs and play a couple more games, but just the circumstances, they are what they are, and we're just going to live with them. It's out of our control.
All right, well, great game for both of
Thank
you.
you.
Bob and Jan, back to you guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time. We thank the Lakeland Chiefs and School District for having us here up at Chapman Lake. So, again, low scoring. We knew it would be. Hard-fought defensive battle between two outstanding programs.
And again, these guys, Lakeland, congratulations on an undefeated season. Let's hope that they're allowed to, granted that they're allowed to go. The Dunmore Bucks, they've hit 2 hard teams the last 2 weeks, and Riverside has that run and gun offense, which I know Coach McHale really didn't like when Tunkhannock went no huddle, so I'm sure Coach Armstrong is probably licking his chops, ready to come down here at Dunmore and show what they can do.
That could be a high-scoring game as well. So we will be back next week. We'll let you know on Monday, so stay tuned to our Twitter page and our Facebook page as well, and we'll have Valley View and Scranton Prep on Saturday. So a great game here. Congratulations to the Lakeland Chiefs. They are Lackawanna Football Conference Division III champs. For the entire Fox 56 sports crew, for Hannah O'Reilly, Jan Cichak, this is Bob Ide saying so long from Lakeland Stadium.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.